When my cousin Cody and I were in our early 20s, we embarked on several camping adventures across Colorado. I remember this particular incident occurring when I was 22 and he was 23, deep in the Urrao Forest. It wasn't my first time camping there, but it was Cody's familiar territory. We often chose midweek outings to dodge the weekend traffic and crowds, aligning perfectly with our flexible work schedules. As usual, I let Cody take the lead on our excursions. Being the Eagle Scout between us, he had a knack for navigating the wilderness. Parking near a picnic area, we ventured into the woods, finding a suitable clearing after about 15 minutes of hiking. Cody, ever the efficient one, swiftly pitched our tents while I struggled to keep up, taking over 20 minutes just to get mine up. With camp set, we gathered stones for a fire pit and collected wood. Admittedly, Cody had brought along some fire starter and a lighter, giving us a bit of a head start. As dusk settled, Cody grilled up some steaks and burgers, spoiling us with his culinary skills. Despite the tantalizing aroma, we kept our bear spray handy. Though Cody assured me the chances of encountering a black bear were slim, emphasizing that other campers were more of a concern. Savoring our meal and cracking open a couple of cold beers, we soaked in the serene wilderness ambience, accompanied by classic rock tunes. There's something special about those moments in nature. Sharing laughs and stories with a good friend, disconnected from the bustle of everyday life. As darkness enveloped the forest, we transitioned to card games, setting up a folding table for the occasion. Uno became our game of choice after some rounds of traditional cards. It was during one of these intense Uno matches that we heard it, a faint humming and rustling of footsteps emanating from the woods beyond. I hastily silenced the music, and the forest fell into an eerie stillness. Cody, ever vigilant, urged me to find the flashlight. Frantically searching, I finally located it. But by then, the sounds had faded into the night. I couldn't shake the unease creeping over me, prompting me to ask Cody if we should be worried. But before he could respond, the forest held its breath, leaving us in suspense. The forest seemed to hold its breath as we processed the unnerving encounter. It was highly unusual for someone to be lurking so deep in the woods, especially exhibiting such eerie behavior. The unsettling feeling lingered, casting a shadow over our card game. Just as we tried to regain our composure, a loud thud shattered the uneasy calm. A hefty stick crashed into our campsite, sending us both into a startled frenzy. It wasn't a mere accident. Someone had deliberately hurled it in our direction. Cody's voice cut through the tension, a mixture of anger and defiance as he shouted into the darkness, demanding whoever was out there to show themselves. But the only response was the fading echo of retreating footsteps, leaving us with a palpable sense of vulnerability. Despite my suggestion to relocate, Cody remained steadfast, refusing to uproot camp in the darkness. Armed with our bear spray, our makeshift defense against the unknown, we resolved to stay vigilant. Throughout the night, strange sounds reverberated through the forest branches, snapping, twigs crunching, unsettling noises that defied explanation. It became evident that we were not alone, and the thought sent shivers down my spine. As fatigue threatened to engulf us, we devised a plan to take turns keeping watch. Cody volunteered for the first shift, armed with a book to keep him company. Reluctantly, I retreated to my tent, enveloped by the eerie stillness of the night. The abrupt awakening was disorienting, senses dulled by sleep. Rubbing the sleep from my eyes, I peered up to find a shadowy figure looming over me. Assuming it was Cody, I mumbled groggily, ready to relieve him of his watch duty. But as the figure hastily retreated, a cold chill crept over me, dispelling any remnants of drowsiness. In a sudden rush of clarity, I bolted upright, realizing that something was amiss. Panic surged through me as I called out to Cody, receiving no response. Hastily unzipping my tent, I surveyed the deserted campsite, the dying embers of the fire casting eerie shadows. Racing to Cody's tent, my heart pounded with dread as I unzipped the flap, only to find him fast asleep, oblivious to the unfolding drama. A wave of terror washed over me as I shook him awake, recounting the unsettling encounter. It took him a moment to grasp the gravity of the situation, mirroring my own disbelief. With renewed urgency, Cody armed himself with the bear spray, his eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of intruders. As he suggested I join him in his tent, a shiver ran down my spine. The forest whispering secrets we were yet to uncover. We stood together, a beacon of defiance against the unknown, determined to weather the night's eerie events. As I dashed back to Cody's tent to retrieve my sleeping bag, the familiar, haunting hum echoed through the darkness once more. Dread coiled in my stomach as I hurriedly grabbed my belongings, desperate to escape the eerie presence lurking beyond the tent flaps. Cody's urgent whisper urged me to hasten, his apprehension mirroring my own. "You hear that too?" I whispered, my voice barely audible over the unsettling hum. His affirmation sent a chill down my spine, reinforcing the reality of our predicament. Retreating to the safety of Cody's tent, we zipped ourselves in, clutching our cans of bear spray like talismans against the encroaching darkness. In that moment, I longed for the ferocious protection of a bear, anything to ward off the unseen threat haunting our campsite. Hours stretched agonizingly as I kept watch, the weight of the night pressing down on me like a suffocating blanket. When the time came to rouse Cody from his restless slumber, the first faint light of dawn filtering through the forest canopy offered a glimmer of hope. With weary resignation, we packed up our camp, eager to leave behind the chilling memories that lingered in the shadows. The hike back to the car was silent, each step a solemn retreat from the haunting unknown that had besieged us. Though we could have sought solace in another night of camping elsewhere, the allure of safety and familiarity beckoned us home. 6 years have passed since that harrowing night, yet the memory remains etched in my mind like a scar, a chilling reminder of the fragility of our sense of security in the wilderness. Cody's invitations to return to the great outdoors have gone unanswered. The specter of that fateful night casting a pall over any notion of future adventures. The unsettling encounter with the mysterious intruder, their silent vigil outside my tent, still haunts my dreams. A nightmarish tableau I'm hesitant to revisit. And yet, amidst the shadows of that unsettling memory, another tale unfolds, a sun-drenched escapade on the shores of Florida, where the promise of relaxation and camaraderie beckoned. The journey south, crammed into a car with friends, was a precursor to the idyllic retreat that awaited us, a beach house nestled along the pristine coastline. The modest abode, adorned with coastal decor, offered a tranquil sanctuary from the chaos of everyday life. Its unassuming charm belied the breathtaking vista that greeted us from the back deck, where the endless expanse of the ocean stretched out before us like a sapphire tapestry, with bedrooms claimed and beach chairs in tow. We wasted no time in immersing ourselves in the sun-drenched paradise that lay just beyond our doorstep. Hours slipped away in a blissful haze of laughter and relaxation. The cares of the world washed away by the gentle rhythm of the waves. But as night descended and the moon cast its silver glow upon the ocean's surface, a shadow stirred beneath the surface, a portent of the darkness that lurked just beyond the reach of our flickering beachside bonfire. Caught up in the revelry of the moment, I scarcely noticed the ominous presence until it materialized before me. An enigmatic figure standing at the water's edge, its features obscured by the inky cloak of night. My heart stuttered in my chest as I stumbled backward, the weight of uncertainty pressing down upon me like an oppressive tide. Had my senses betrayed me? Or was there truly something lurking in the depths of the ocean, watching, waiting? With a shiver of unease, I rejoined my friends, the memory of that fleeting encounter lingering like a ghostly whisper upon the salt-tinged breeze. As we retired to the warmth of our beach house sanctuary, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were not alone, that something unseen and unknowable lingered just beyond the threshold of our perception, waiting to reveal itself in the dead of night. What the heck is happening here? First, the eerie encounter in the woods during a camping trip. And now, this chilling episode at the beach house in Florida. It's like something straight out of a horror movie, isn't it? Back in the woods, after the unsettling events of the night, Cody and I huddled together in his tent, clutching our bear spray tightly. The haunting melody of that mysterious humming echoed through the darkness once again, sending shivers down our spines. With each passing moment, the feeling of unease intensified, and I couldn't help but wish for the safety of a bear's presence amidst the looming uncertainty. Hours dragged on as I kept watch while Cody slept, the weight of the night pressing down on me like a heavy fog. When it was finally my turn to rest, the first light of dawn was beginning to filter through the trees, signaling an end to the long, harrowing night. With a sense of relief, we hastily packed up our camp, eager to leave the eerie forest behind us. Similarly, at the beach house in Florida, what started as a fun getaway with friends quickly took a sinister turn. The idyllic setting by the ocean turned ominous as a mysterious figure emerged from the water, casting an eerie silhouette against the moonlit waves. Initially dismissing it as a local enjoying a late-night swim, we soon found ourselves unnerved by their lingering presence. As the night wore on, the unease only intensified when the mysterious figure reappeared, this time on the beach, seemingly fixated on our rented abode. John and I exchanged uneasy glances, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. When the figure vanished, leaving a palpable sense of dread in its wake, we retreated indoors, seeking solace in the safety of our rooms. But the creeping unease followed us inside, reaching its peak when a chilling knock echoed against my bedroom window. My heart raced as fear gripped me, rendering me frozen in terror. I couldn't bring myself to confront the unknown presence presence lurking outside. Trapped in a nightmare from which I couldn't wake, gathering the courage to alert my friends, I found myself confronting the inexplicable horror that had invaded our sanctuary. Yet, despite our collective unease, there were no answers to be found, only lingering questions and a profound sense of vulnerability. As dawn broke and we prepared to depart, leaving the haunting memories of that night behind, I couldn't help but wonder who or what had been watching us from the shadows, and would we ever find the truth behind these inexplicable encounters? Freaky stuff you've experienced, especially with the strange occurrences at the beach house and the unsettling phone call incident when you were just a kid. It's chilling to think about what might have happened if you had lifted the blind that night at the beach house. The fact that the mysterious figure vanished without a trace only adds to the sense of unease and lingering questions. And discovering that one of the neighbors had encountered a similar situation recently only amplifies the creepiness factor. Your childhood experience with the phone call is equally disturbing. The way the caller mimicked your mom's voice and used the term "sweetie" repeatedly is deeply unsettling. It's no wonder you felt that something was off. Trusting your instincts not to engage further was a wise decision, especially when the caller's identity remained unknown. It's these inexplicable and eerie moments that linger in our memories, leaving us with a sense of unease long after the events have passed. But by sharing these experiences, we shed light on the shadows and remind ourselves of the importance of staying vigilant in the face of the unknown. Definitely missing. And she confirmed that she hadn't made any calls during the time of the incident. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. The person on the other end of the line wasn't my dad. It was an imposter, someone with malicious intent. The gravity of the situation escalated when the knocking shifted to the front door. My heart raced as I grappled with the terrifying reality unfolding before me. It was clear that whoever was outside wasn't there with good intentions. With trembling hands, I dialed 911, my voice barely above a whisper as I relayed the harrowing events to the operator. Following the operator's instructions, I sought refuge in the bathroom, the only room with a lockable door on the first floor. Huddled in darkness, I listened intently as the intruders attempted to force their way into the house, their persistent efforts sending waves of fear coursing through me. For what felt like an eternity, I remained hidden, praying for the police to arrive before the situation escalated further. The sound of their arrival outside brought a wave of relief, signaling the end of the terrifying ordeal. Emerging from my hiding place, I cautiously approached the front door, greeted by the reassuring presence of law enforcement. Their swift response and thorough investigation provided a sense of safety amidst the chaos. As the police conducted their inquiries, my mom returned home, her expression a mix of shock and concern at the sight of the patrol cars lining the street. Reunited with her, I felt a wave of relief wash over me, grateful for her safety and the swift intervention of the authorities. In the aftermath of the incident, questions swirled in my mind. Who were the intruders? And what was their motive? The sense of vulnerability lingered, a stark reminder of the fragility of security in the face of danger. Yet, amidst the fear and uncertainty, there was also a glimmer of resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest of moments, there are forces of protection and support ready to shield us from harm. And though the scars of that night may linger, so too does the strength forged in adversity, a beacon of hope in the face of adversity. The aftermath of that terrifying night left a lasting impact on our family. The violation of our sense of security lingered long after the intruders had retreated into the shadows. The realization that our personal information could have been compromised sent shivers down my spine. It was a stark reminder of the dangers lurking in the digital realm, where privacy can be easily breached with devastating consequences. The image on my mom's phone, a snapshot of our family, suddenly felt like a beacon for predators, a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of our circumstances. The thought of someone preying on our family, using our love and connection as a weapon to manipulate and deceive, filled me with a profound sense of disgust and horror. It was a sobering reminder of the darkness that exists in the world, lurking behind the facade of everyday life. In the aftermath of the incident, my mom's vigilance became a constant presence in our lives. Gone were the days of being left alone at night, a precautionary measure to ensure our safety in the wake of that harrowing ordeal. It was a small sacrifice for peace of mind, a reminder that the scars of that night ran deep, shaping our behavior and attitudes in ways we couldn't fully comprehend. Yet, amidst the fear and uncertainty, there was also a newfound resilience, a determination to reclaim our sense of security and rebuild what had been shattered by the intrusion of those sinister forces. And though the scars of that night may never fully fade, they serve as a reminder of our strength and resilience in the face of adversity. In the tapestry of our lives, there are moments that stand out as stark reminders of our vulnerability and resilience. From the eerie encounters in the wilderness to the chilling intrusion at our doorstep, these experiences shape our perception of the world around us, leaving an indelible mark on our souls. As we navigate the complexities of life, we are confronted with the harsh realities of danger and uncertainty. Yet, in the face of adversity, we find strength in our bonds of family and friendship, drawing courage from the unwavering support of those closest to us. Though the scars of our experiences may linger, they serve as testaments to our resilience and determination. Forged in the crucible of hardship, we emerge stronger, more vigilant, and more determined to safeguard our loved ones and protect the sanctity of our homes. And as we move forward, may we carry with us the lessons learned from our trials, embracing each new day with a renewed sense of purpose and gratitude. For it is through adversity that we discover the depth of our courage and the boundless capacity of the human spirit to endure, overcome,